Welcome back to Big Mouth and fancy seeing you here. And unlike the BBC, every Doctor Who is welcome here on my channel to discuss and debate Doctor Who. Whatever happened to Chris Chibnall's writer's room? Do you remember how he was proudly discussing it and saying he felt it was a more interesting way, a more positive way to develop Doctor Who stories? And I agree. I love the writer's room. I work in a writer's room, and it's a really healthy way because you get all these people in a room and everyone gets a chance to speak, right, and throw their ideas. So what happens is, if it's a bad idea, people will tell you if it's a good idea, and it gets big. And when it's a good idea, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So what happened to Chris Chibnall's writer's room? Was he the only one in it? Because it seems that way, doesn't it? Because when I see all the episodes, even the ones he didn't write, it seems like he wrote them, and that's the problem. It was like he was shadow writing the ones that he put other people to write. Now, it's already been identified a lot of these writers are very inexperienced and worked on shows like Doctors and soaps and things like that. Not really people you want writing sci-fi. But Doctor Who isn't just a sci-fi show. It's a show you need to have a certain talent for, even if you've got sci-fi history. I think that Russell T Davies' writing team was the best. People like Phil Ford, for example, who co-wrote The Waters of Mars with Russell T Davies. But it was like he just had other writers just to tick that demographic box, but really he was still writing the episodes. This is really problematic. So really, there wasn't really a writer's room for season 11, was there? So what would I do if I came in now? I would grab 5 fans from the classic series and 5 fans from the revival, have them in a room with me, and we can discuss about breaking down stories, what to do with Doctor Who. I think it will be very healthy. It will be very interesting to get the thoughts of people who have been watching Doctor Who since 1963 and to get the thoughts of people who know the revival series so well. I mean, I first started watching Doctor Who with Peter Davison's era, but I don't really remember it. But I remember everything about the revival. So you have 2 separate fans because it's all gone full circle now, you see, because when the revival first started, classic Who fans felt excluded from the show. They felt it wasn't the same show. And there always used to be these arguments between revival fans and classic fans. Now we're all in it together, talking against season 11 and Jodie Whittaker and Chris Chibnall. That truly isn't Doctor Who. I've always felt the revival was Doctor Who, and I've always felt that maybe if classic fans and revival fans came together, we could get something really, really interesting. And this is what I'd do if I was running Doctor Who. But not only that, I'd have Doctor Who Confidential back with fans of the classic and the revival talking about Doctor Who and their memories of Doctor Who and what they'd like to see from Doctor Who. For me, one of the big things about television and films now, the fans are excluded. You've got your creatives, they've got their own ideas, and it's this like it or lump it mentality, and it's really becoming ugly. We talk about toxicity on social media and online, but it's more frustration than toxicity. We are excluded from a very important conversation. Who do you need? Who do you need to make your show successful so your show has ratings and money and sells merchandise and box sets? Ask the fans. If you exclude us, if you make us your enemies, like you're doing with season 11, right, you have a big problem on your hands. You have the problem now. It's insane that they're going forward with season 12 with Chibnall, but they are, because they're stubborn. They think they can fix this with keeping with Chibnall, or maybe Chibnall will be gone after season 12. But that isn't good enough. The point is, take action now. Season 11 didn't work. Get rid of him. Get rid of Whittaker. Get rid of that whole companion cast and just start again. It hasn't worked. Admit it. Do what Warner Brothers have done with the DCEU. where they've said it hasn't worked, we need to go a slightly different direction, but still embracing what's gone before. And this is what Doctor Who needs to do. They're not going to do it. They're going ahead with season 12 and Jodie and that cast. And that's very problematic for the fandom. I would expect the ratings to fall a lot more when it comes. It comes back in over a year's time. When you have a show with such problems and then it takes such a big break, it is very, very troubling for the IP. It's like the BBC's heart isn't in Doctor Who anymore. We've heard a lot of stuff. We've heard excuses about Chris Chibnall not being able to think of a Christmas episode. It's laughable. We've heard that Doctor Who can't have a season every year because of the way they make it. But we know that Russell T Davies had a series every year. So that's basically a lie. I've tried being calm and collected with the BBC, but they don't listen to the fans. They don't treat us as individuals. They think they've got the audience they want, right? They think they've got the audience they want, but they haven't really. It's all it's all made up on false assumptions, really, isn't it? So at the end of the day, right, they just need to stop all this right now. We know they won't. We know, look, we know they won't. We know they're not going to do that. But I think the more us fans make ourselves heard on channels like this and speak up and, vote with our feet and walk away from this show, it's going to be interesting what kind of numbers Resolution makes. If you've seen my video, you will know that I've seen Resolution, that I wasn't impressed. The action was amazing, the VFX was amazing, but it's an overcrowded mess of an episode, and that's all I can say at this moment. I will review it. You're not going to get changes, not the changes that you want or I want. It's just going to carry on along these lines until people walk away. No, I don't know. Ultimately, I think this show's fucked. But I'd love to run it. I really would. I'd love to run it and bring in fans from all walks of life, from the classic era, from the revival era, and just get a good, healthy, constructive debate going on what Doctor Who should be and what Doctor Who needs to be. It shouldn't be a focus on who you cast or what you cast as the Doctor. It should be about fleshing out your characters, what directions you go to. Do you travel to more planets and times? Things like that. It's about bringing the Doctor Who back to basics. Yeah, I think that's really important. This show has been desperately needing to go back to basics for a very, very long time. And it hasn't done that. The BBC have ignored the problems since Russell's left. And it's only going to get worse, and it's only going to get more hurtful. But they're on this SJW trajectory now. And there's nothing that can stop that now. But what has to happen is, are we going to stand for it? I'm not. Are you?